Hello and welcome to my office. I love stationery and I have created a 7-figure stationery business and have helped countless of entrepreneurs create their own stationery business. And today, for the very first time ever, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you how I plan my next guided journal. I'm planning to make this a $30,000 a month journal. And in order for me to be able to do that, I need to start with the right strategy first. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes with me and show you how I make sure that the idea that I have actually has demand. I'm going to show you how I think of concept and the outline of the product, how I reverse engineer sales. And then we're going to be looking at the timeline from idea to actually launching it on the market. This is going to be a complete behind the scenes guide. I recommend you to watch it until the end if you've ever been interested in creating your very own guided journal, or you might be just realizing this is a really cool opportunity to do. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, we need to think of demand. Before we get even started on creating a new product, this is one of the journals I've created a few years ago. And what I need to make sure ahead of time is people are searching for what I want to create. And usually when I create a product, it is a problem that I try to solve, or a desire that I try to cater towards. Now, it can also be a combination of both, but usually there is a lack of something. So there's a before, where there's something missing, and then there is a hope for a after, where they have what they're looking for. Figuring out if there's demand is a must do. Very often I find people come to me and say like, wow, I have this idea of a journal or a planner or a card deck and I've never seen anything like it out there. Awesome. Now, when I notice that there's nothing like the thing that I want to create out there, it could mean there's not enough demand. And demand basically means there are different types of people looking for what you have to offer because they are unhappy about something and they would like to get support with it. Sometimes there will be lots of people and sometimes there will be less people. Now, for us, there is a way to figure out if there is demand. There are research tools that are a must to use ahead of time, depending on who you are creating the product for. What I usually use to do my research is Amazon. Amazon is a perfect platform to see what people are searching for and what people are buying. Because if I already see other products that are catering towards that problem, that are getting sales, I know there is a market. Because the reason I want to know if there's demand is because I truly want to know, is there a market for what I want to offer? Only if this is a given, if I see, hey, on Amazon, there are products that are catering towards the same problem that are getting sales, and Amazon is showing us if products are getting sales, then I know, okay, this is something that has demand. Other great places to check it out are Etsy, also Google. If you're going into like a very niche topic and you're part of a community, you can always ask the community, hey, do you want my product? And if they say, yes, please, I would love to, I would buy it, then you know, okay, there is demand. Without a step, we cannot move forward. We do have separate videos on how to use tools to do this research within our community. It is linked below if you want to have more in-depth research. So in my case, behind the scenes case, I've already done the research, and I know there are people on Amazon, there are people even on Etsy, there are even people on Google, and there are even communities around my topic that I know, okay, there is demand for what I'm intending to create. Move to the next step. I'm going to plan out a concept for my product, and I'm going to outline it. Anytime when I create a new product, I always start from the same position. I look at the A to B journey. A is the before, and this is the after. Why do I look at that? Because when someone is purchasing my product, it is for them to solve a problem. So I want to be very aware of the problem so that I know how can I help them, because this is where my journal comes in, or planner, and I know how I can help them. A reminder, I'm not trying to solve all of the person's problems in one product. We can divide that in different products. I want to get them one step closer to a life that they want. Now, the theme that I'm going for in my journal is lasting change. Basically, how to achieve goals, goal achievement. And this time for real. This is what I'm trying to do. Because a lot of what we see outside in the world that helps people with achieving their goals are quick fixes. So this is not going to be a quick fix, because I don't believe in it. I personally have been obsessed with achieving goals and improving life, reinventing, lasting change. But I've noticed that anytime I go for the quick fixes, I actually go 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back. And I get stuck in an endless loop of wanting to change and again coming to the starting point. So this is the starting point. So I'm realizing quick fixes is not what's working. Now, in the past few years, I've achieved quite a lot of things. If I look back in my life, and this is my before, if I think back 5 years back, I had many goals. I would create my vision boards. Nothing worked. I would make very little to no progress. And I couldn't get it. Why was it this way? Like, why could I not achieve the goals? Why was I constantly in this cycle? I felt stuck, super stuck. I felt shame. Why can I not achieve the things? What's wrong with me? And one thing that I felt a lot is, this is not working. This is not working. I need to find a different way. I wanted to break out of the cycle. Now, in order for me to do this, I created a 7-figure business plus 3 other 6-figure businesses. I moved to my dream home. I became debt-free. I traveled a ton. I even won the school games. And right now, it looks like anything I put my mind on, I'm able to achieve. And this is a very different place from where I started. What I'm breaking down in this journal now, and the concept of this journal. So the concept is lasting change and reinvention, because it requires some form of reinvention to become a different person that is able to achieve these things. And also it requires looking at things differently. So what I'm thinking for this new journal is I need 2 steps to it. I need a step 1 and I need a step 2. The step 1 is the reinvention. And I'm thinking of making this a thin guide that is for 33. Why 33 days? This is a short period of time that is achievable, but it's a little bit longer than a month. And it gives a good framework to get the first momentum. Because in order to get to step 2, which is a lot more boring work, because really when we achieve our goals, if this is achievement and this is time, usually we start compounding and achieving more and more and more goals because we need to do the boring stuff over time and it adds up, and then we get there and we achieve the goals. Have you ever noticed people that are really successful tend to be successful in more than one things, and they get to be able to create one thing after the other? You know why this is? Because they are able to do the boring compounding work. Boring and compounding. And they know it works. They are focused on their inputs, and know it takes time to see the results. The results are delayed. So it has to do a lot with delayed gratification. But in order for someone, if I think of myself 5 years back, I need to start with this point first. I need to change my environment. I need to get commitment in, and I need to work on the emotions. I need to work on my obstacles. And then a new version of me. This is what I need to start first. This is why we have this 33 days. And then I can move to the boring, to the compounding, focusing on the inputs, and then finding joy in the system instead of quick results. Quick results. That's not what I'm expecting. What's really interesting about this is that once you get joy in the system and you just put your inputs in, you will start getting quick results, or what feels like quick results. But they tend to come a lot later, and then they compound. That's when a lot of people feel like the overnight success. It's often because they have done like all the work ahead of time, and they've done this, found the joy in the system. They did the boring stuff, they did the compounding, and they focused on inputs. And this is the system that I'm going to build out. Now, so in order to outline my product, now I need to be thinking of what does a product usually have. Any product that requires repetitive action, which my product would, so there needs to be a key page that repeats itself. So I need to be thinking of what my key page might be looking like. So here we have the key page. And this is the page that will repeat. A key page could also be a spread of 2 pages. It could be a daily page. It could be a weekly page. It could be just a prompted page. It could be just a dotted page. But I want to create a guided journal. So there is going to be some text on it, and there's going to be some guidance to it. I would have to decide if I want it to be a daily or a weekly type of product. I am thinking that the part 2 of my product, basically the boring compounding inputs part of my product, is most likely going to be a weekly page. So I could see it as such roughly. So we have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And then there could be like a section for notes, something like that. I could also envision it as 1 page per day, and it would be just page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and so on. So 1 page per day could also be what I can envision. Here I'm still trying to think about this. How am I trying to think about this is like, how thick do I want my product to be, and how many days do I want to fit in? If I want to fit in a whole year, which would fit a lot more with the compounding, because compounding is over a long time. So if I'm thinking of 1 year, then I would need weekly pages, because otherwise it would be hard to fit in without it being very thick. If I have 1 page per day, I will need just 365 pages alone. That is a very thick journal, which I don't intend to create. I intend to create a journal that has between 200 and 230 pages, roughly. This is what my intention is for this journal. I often get the question, is there right or wrong? Not truly. I just wouldn't make it too thick or too thin. I always think about how user-friendly is it? What's the perceived value like? Is it annoying because it's too thick? Is it too thin that it feels like there's nothing in here? These are things that I'm thinking about. Now, if I create a daily one and I create 1 page per day, I could probably fit half a year. With daily pages, 1 daily page. If I wanted to create 2 daily pages, so like this product here, right? So it's like this side and this side, so it's 2 pages per day, then I would only be able to fit in roughly 3 months. I want to fit more than 3 months. 6 to 12 months I think is great. I think maybe 6 months is a good number because I prefer daily pages. So I'm trying to get a little bit of clarity. You're noticing I'm just thinking out loud as I'm talking to you. And this is how I do it behind the scenes. I work with Post-its and I think of how these pages could be. So if I have 2 pages next to each other, and this is what you can imagine it like, right? So we have 2 pages next to each other in a journal. I think I would want it to be day 1, day 2, and number these days through. So it could be a total of 150 days or so, 160 days, to really get the compounding in 6 months. That's what it could be. And here it's all about the boring work. So I need to make sure I can add the boring. It will be check marks, things that they need to do, and focusing on their inputs. Every now and then there's going to be a page where they could reflect and see. But it's very important that they get their inputs in, and also some form of tracking of how is it working. I would probably not want how is it working to be daily, because I don't want people to jump daily on different things, because often we don't see if things are working until we do them for a bit of a time. But this is what I'm thinking that I want to have. Tracking, inputs, and how is it working? If I now think of part 1 of my product 1, which if we go back, is going to be a guide that is going to help them with the reinvention part, which I think needs to go ahead of time before they can do this piece here. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to do this piece if they don't have the foundation. So I'm also seeing this as setting up the foundation. So I'm setting the foundation. I envision part 1 to be a thinner product. Probably this type of format, a pretty thin product, because it includes a 33-day reinvention, not challenge, but plan, a protocol that they're following. Protocol. Sorry if I have any misspelling, and that's what I'm envisioning. And here I'm going to give them different exercises that are going to help them with what we've discussed before. The environment, the commitment, the emotions, the obstacles, and then creating the new version of themselves in 33 days. So this is going to be a bit more of like a, I wouldn't say intense, but it's a guide that is going to help them go through all of these pieces and set up the foundation so that when they use the actual product and they're doing the boring work and they're doing and putting in the inputs and they're doing the tracking, so that they can experience the compounding effect, and so that they can get from their before to their after, and can work on lasting change and goal achievement, this time for real, because they're not running in circles again and again, running after the quick fixes that get them 2 steps forward and 3 steps back each and every time, and running from one shiny object to the next. And I speak so passionately about this because this was me for so many years. And I've done the courses, I've done the coachings, I did all the things, and I thought now is the time, but I was jumping from one shiny object to the other because everything was supposed to feel exciting, and I was not able to handle the boring compounding inputs. Only when I started doing that, that's when my life truly changed, and I went out of that. I moved into like an absolute dream apartment. I created the 7-figure business. I created the multiple 6-figure businesses, multiple of them, 3 in total. I started traveling, I won the school games and all of these different things. And now when I put my mind on something, I feel a lot more inner peace, knowing that I can rely on myself, knowing that I will achieve the things that I put my mind on, because I know how lasting change works. I know how the quick fixes don't work. And while I'm still human and still get stuck here oftentimes because we all want the quick fixes, I know how to get back here and work on getting the things achieved. The way that I'm envisioning is that the client will get the products in a set. They will get part 1 together with part 2. They will work on part 1 first, and then they have the foundation, and then they can work on part 2. This is as far as I go when I outline a product. This helps me have a structure in my mind of what I want to add. The only thing that I will start doing is I will start having my post-its, and anytime I think of an exercise or a page that I want to add, I will start sticking this, write it on here. Let's say I want a values exercise, figuring out what your values are, and I will put them where I think I want to have them. And I'll add them all, because initially I'm just going to put all of my ideas here before I go back and again look at this and see what of the ideas that I have must be added in order to help, and what can I take out. Because in the end of the day, I'm trying to create a product still that can be used and is easy to use. Now my goal with this is to create a $30,000 a month product. In order to do that, I need to reverse engineer. So I'm going to think of, what do I want to price my product? I'm thinking of pricing my product at $29 per piece. That means in order to get there, I will have to sell roughly 1,000 and I think 80 something products. Let's put 1,080 products per month. In order to do that, I need to calculate how much is that per day. So I'm going to divide that by 30, and then it comes down to roughly 34 pieces per day is what I need to be selling. Now, I'm planning to mostly sell on Amazon, but also I'm going to be selling on my website and wholesale. Ideally, I want to have a lot of the sales coming here, and then anything that I sell wholesale will be on top of it. So I'm just calculating this for now. I know that getting 34 orders on Amazon is something that is possible for this type of product, because there's lots of people looking for ways to get their goals achieved. And then also on my website, I can also generate some additional sales. So this is what I'm planning for. Now, I need to also know two very important things. That is profit, and it's my return on investment. This is where manufacturing comes in. I'm going to show you two examples and how your manufacturing cost can make all the difference. So I'm going to sell my product for $29. So we're going to have two scenarios. $29. Regularly, what people pay is roughly $8 in manufacturing to get this product. Then there's also additional fees, which will be, let's calculate, with roughly $10. And then what they make here is $11. And they don't even have any budget for ads or anything else. Because for ads, I usually like to calculate 20% of your price here. So in this case, it would be roughly $6 for ads. So we are left with $5 in profit. Now, if you've invested $8, $5 in profit is less than 100% return on investment. Now let me show you how I do it and why manufacturing is the key to profit. Manufacturing is the key. Not even sure if I can draw a nice key like this. It's the key to profits. And let me show you. My product, because I'm part of the collective, right? So I'm getting roughly, my cost per piece is going to be roughly $2. I'm still going to have the same fees, but my initial profit is already very different, right? So we're looking here at $17. I'm still going to also have to invest roughly $6 in ads, but my profit here is $11 in profit, and my return on investment is almost 400%. That means if I invest $1,000, well, I'm going to be investing more than $1,000. Let's say I'm investing $10,000. I can make a profit of $40,000. If here I invest $10,000, I can only make a profit of roughly, it's less than 10, roughly 8,000-ish. Do you see the difference in how here investing $10,000 both ways, how much this makes a difference? Even though this only looks like $6 of a difference, it makes a big difference in the bottom line. Look how little profitability is here and return on investment. While there is profit, the return on investment is a very different one, because you have to invest so much more money to get a lot less profit out. And here I get to invest the same amount of money to get a lot more profit out. And this is what makes the difference. And this is also how over the years I was able to grow my e-commerce business like this, from 0 to over $200,000 a month, by being able to reinvest and reinvest here, because my profits are high. And many people go this route. And this is the benefit of being in the collective, because you get different pricing. Now, you might not get $2, but you might be able to get $3 to $4. Here I already get a better price because my order quantities is higher. But even at a lower order quantity, you would be able to get this, and your return on investment would be a lot higher. And this is why I'm so proud of this collective, and that we are able to create much better return on investments and profit margins through the way that we manufacture. Because in the end of the day, manufacturing is the key to profits. Now let's look at the timeline. I am here today. Hi. And I have the content outline, because I have the concept. This is where I am. Now my next step is content written. This will take me roughly 10 hours of focused work to get this done. I need to find place in my calendar to schedule it in. My next step is getting it designed. That's the graphic design. This usually will take, in my case, roughly 2 weeks, because I'm working with a designer that I already know. If you're working with a new designer, this could take, I would say, from 2 to 6 weeks to do it right. I would say never rush it. You rather want to have this right than having a product that isn't great. If you have lots of revisions, it also can take a little bit longer. Then we get to the sample. The sample process takes roughly 2 weeks. I want to get the sample of my product. Here you see I already have samples. These are sample products, so a lot of the pages are empty, just the first few pages are printed. This is for me to see what the product looks like and if I like the colors. This was one of the versions I didn't like the cover, so we didn't end up taking this version, but this is what I always will do. I will check out the samples and see if I like it. Once the sample is confirmed, we go into production. The production can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Then we have shipping that can also take 4 to 6 weeks. And then we have the launch. And that's when our product goes live. Here I also plan in 2 weeks, because it can take time for the warehouses to check in all of the products, organize them, and make them available for sale. So if today is the 4th of February, and I'm writing it in the European format, then I want to give myself for this piece roughly 10 days. So in 10 days, let's say it will then be Monday the 17th of February. I'm going to pass the design over to the designer, and the first week of March is when I get the sample, or when I order the sample. So first week of March, first week. Then I will have the sample mid-March. I will make my confirmation. The production is going to go finished by mid-March, mid-April, end of April. Let's calculate end of April. Then I will be shipping, and my product will arrive roughly either end of May to mid-June, and I can expect my launch to be mid-June to end of June. That's when I will be launching. This is to show you how the timeline roughly is. When it comes to my investment, and I only invest into the manufacturing roughly 30% to 50%, depending on your order size, at the starting of the production, and then the rest at the end of the production, and then the shipping fee is here. So this is where the bulk cost will come. So I can plan that for April. And this is how I'm creating the product at this point of time. You found this behind the scenes insights on how I create new products and how I reverse engineer and how I think of the concepts. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you would like to watch me how I create some of the content, written content, and how I use AI as well to help me think things through, let me know in the comments if that is something that you find interesting as well. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye!